Well, when though?
And when you say it, or yeah, because it's like we're doing gifts. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
Test from you.
Test. Yo, check.
Yo, test.
All right. So we're ready to go when you're ready to go.
Instead,
Did you do live stream?
Yeah, the live stream's turned on. I just did the click clicks. Did you guys not hear it?
Jar Jar is the new overlord.
Okay.
This is so crazy.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Hopefully it's a good Christmas morning, listeners. It might be Christmas when we release this, or the day before. In any case, happy holiday season to everyone. Welcome to Good, Bad, or Bullshit. Random topics, unrehearsed conversation, and quality reviews. My name is Mike Hodgins. I'm one of your three affable hosts.
Jolly.
Jolly hosts. Though I'm seldom jolly on this show. And along with, of course, Mr. Crofton Steers, who piped up there.
Ho, 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 Hodgins.
Hello, and of course, Mr. Bo Schwartz.
Ho, ho, ho. Bonjour, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing today? I am the French Santa. Santa Claus.
That was like a Norwegian.
Or like Santa Cloud, am I right?
Santa Claude. Je suis Santa Claude. Veux-tu des petits cadeaux?
If anyone's watching this, I mean, you can't see Bo's long hair, but if he were to age a little bit, he's well poised to play Santa Claus.
You know, I'd like being Santa Claus. I think it's...
You've got, like, the glasses with no rim on the bottom, a kind of, like, generally nice smile, big hairy face, you know, kids probably always trying to lure children into your lap.
Man, and I need to find a nice Mrs. Claus in order to make elves.
Is that where they come from?
Somebody has grossly misinformed you.
I'm Santa Claus. I love the ladies, huh?
So I'm having a good We're recording this before it's actually Christmas, but I'm pretty excited for the holiday seasons right now. Not only is it Christmas, which is a fun time, and I'm like kind of leaving my job for a while, and I'm excited about that. And I bought like a new house. So I'm moving to a new house in some point in the spring once I fix it up. I'm excited about all these things, and Star Wars is coming out tomorrow, and I'm super stoked for that too.
Yeah, but
I was falling asleep during the first part of that, and then you said Star Wars, and I'm like, house, and a house job, Star Wars. Oh, you got me.
All
the
these
Force
like
Awakens within me
are meaningless.
By the time this comes out, two of us will have seen it. I still will have not.
I thought you were to see it on the 20th.
So it's the 24th on the day of this release. If you know me, please do not spoil this for me.
But it will be back. You see, this will be coming out after you've seen it.
Well, no, before, because this comes out in the afternoon, and I'll be
Someone
seeing
have to listen
there'll
to
be
it.
a brief window there, so, you know.
That would be awesome. Listeners, if you have seen Star Wars and you hear this, you need to tweet Bo Schwartz all sorts of spoilers. No. Maybe you can get him just as he's going into the theater. It will be so great.
At Bo Schwartz.
All right.
At Schwartz on Twitter.
Before we move on to our topic, I want to know from each of you, what's the thing in the Star Wars movie you're looking forward to the most, or predictions, or...
Okay, me first.
Okay.
I am just like, they've done such a good job of not mentioning Luke Skywalker at all, and then keeping about all the promo materials. On one of the, like, not spoiler reviews that I saw, where all they said is that so Luke Skywalker clearly is in it, and they just said that he's an unwantingly enigmatic character, and it wasn't ruined. And I'm like, oh, Luke Skywalker! I can't wait to see what's come of Luke Skywalker. Clearly, it's going to be a small role. Well, I'm excited.
Do you have a prediction?
No, I mean, I think it's kind of like the base. I sort of think it's the whole, like, you know, people will be looking to find him because, you know, he's the only Jedi left, and there'll be new people that he'll fulfill the role of like Obi-Wan, and I think he'll be kind of. I bet some of the movie is going to be looking for Luke Skywalker. That's what I'm saying.
The search for Skywalker.
Nice. That's a nice Sith voice you got there, Crofton. Do you have any predictions about what's going to happen or what you're looking for?
Oh yeah, I have tons of predictions. Like I feel, to answer the question about Luke, I think the last shot of the movie or last couple of shots will be Luke Skywalker. I agree with Mike that they're going to, he's going to be brought in late in the game to train whoever the Force Awoken in, because the title of the movie is The Force Awakens. So the idea is that it's being dormant, and I think Luke balanced the Force at the end of Return of the Jedi. The only strand left was him, in the sense that he had the Force. Vader was dead and all this. So to balance it, he probably self-exiled himself, and at the end of this movie, when the Force returns, they're going to have to go find good old Luke. I'm excited for that, but I'm actually kind of excited. Mike's right. They did a good job marketing this film. Part of what they've done is had a lot of mystery, and I'm excited to see resolution to some of just what would be basic plot points in other movies, like who are the bad guys, who are the good guys, like what is the impetus for the story to begin. Like episode 4 begins in media res, like in the middle of the story, where like one ship is being boarded by another, and the Death Star plans are already stolen and they're already on their way out. So I'm really curious to see what the approach they're going to use in this movie is for kickstarting the story, because there's going to be a lot of movies after this too.
Tons, because Disney likes money. What about you, Bo?
I think Luke Skywalker is going to be a bad guy.
I feel like that got spoiled enough for me that I don't think that's going to happen based on that non-spoiler review I wrote.
Listen, something heartbreaking has to happen. It can't be, everyone's awesome and there's some threat, let's kill it. Like, something effed up's got to happen to the Skywalker clan.
I feel like it's Han Solo. And also, if you look at any interviews with Harrison Ford, he might well die before they finish shooting them. He seems kind of rough.
Maybe that Rey character turns bad. You never know. Kind of like how Anakin was the good guy and then broke all of our hearts.
Look, Luke is a Jedi like his father before him, and if he didn't turn to the dark side when the Emperor is standing over him being like, do it, and with
strike your brother down.
Strike him down.
He's at my side.
I know there's good in you. I can feel it. If he didn't turn evil then, I'm sorry, he's not going to become a crusty old man and be like, you know what? Fuck them. Dark side was right all along. I'm going dark.
There might be some revelation about the secret of the universe. Sorry, Mike. You wanted to make a joke.
I was just going to say that he was like, if I could only go back and redo it, I would have killed my own father. And done
oh, well. Galaxy. Oh, well.
Okay, now that we've lost all our listeners, let's get to our topic today, which this time is not a random topic, because it's the holiday season. We're going to give it a little bit of focus.
But we already did Christmas.
Well, we're not doing Christmas.
Oh, are we going to do New Year's?
No, I'm waiting for the sound effect.
What sound?
What Bo said he was going to play.
I was going to play it after you made the big announce, but now you get the sound effect.
Okay.
Sounded like an elevator.
Yeah, whatever.
Podcasting gold here.
God, no wonder we have no listeners.
All right, here's
the topic today, as we discussed beforehand, the three of us, is gifts. The idea of giving gifts. It is. But just to put all of any of whoever's still listening, Bo's mom or
holy crap, man!
Bo's mom is one of our most loyal listeners, and we really appreciate it.
It's true. Hi, Bo's mom.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Maybe Tracy's listening too. She's good.
Tracy, Rhonda Moore is listening.
Is she?
Sure.
Hey, Rhonda. Shout to all our listeners.
And Clown Baby 123 from Scott Johnson's Twitch stream the other day loves our show, and he was in the Twitch chat saying, "Hey man, I love your show. Listen to 4 episodes. Great." So thanks for joining us, Clown Baby 123.
Maybe Dallas. Dallas is a long-time listener.
Yeah.
Let's go with Al. Hi, Al.
Yeah. Alice. Okay, now that
that circumcision guy who sent us his paper, I'm sure he.
No, that guy only listened to that one episode, I guarantee.
And what about Evan, the guy who doesn't like you and your views on atheism?
He also was only just looking for atheist stuff on the internet and found us. But what I was going to say is, there's no need to worry, because we've done no research for this whatsoever, and we still are going to be flying by the seat of our pants as usual. This is just an unrehearsed conversation where we're going to bring up ideas and cast a verdict. So, gifts.
So the topic is
don't worry.
Gifts.
We're as dumb as we normally are.
Yeah, don't expect any research.
Yeah. It didn't get any better.
We
but-
literally decided on the topic about 2 minutes prior to recording. So
Yeah, but the thing is, like so many things, it's like, what research do you really need to do? I've given some gifts in my time. I've received some gifts in my time. I feel like I know a thing or two.
It's true. It's true. Okay, so what do you like doing more, if either giving gifts or receiving gifts, Mike?
You're asking me? Man, you know what? It's neither. At this point in my life.
Okay, neither. Both.
Okay.
Giving or receiving?
which act do I prefer more? As of
Yes.
the past, decade or so, I would say giving. But
Yeah,
as a young
same here.
person, I loved receiving. Screw giving. But
Definitely
I made a transition
giving.
somewhere.
Definitely giving, and I agree with you. Transition somewhere. At one point, it was all about receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was a kid, man, I wanted gifts. It's like, oh, what gifts am I gonna get? I'm so excited. At Christmas, at my birthday, whatever. When somebody had a gift for me, like I'm still excited when somebody has a gift for me. And it's like, hey, I have a gift for you. The unknown, especially when it's wrapped and stuff. You're like, oh, what could it be? It could be anything. I hope it's a video game. Oh shit, it's clothes. But when you're older, it starts turning around somewhat. I don't know. Mike likes neither. Why do you hate them both?
Well, so like you and like many people, when I think of gifts and I think of the nostalgia of being a kid, when I was a kid, I loved getting gifts. And, there's nothing more exciting than Christmas morning. You're like, I'm so excited to get up! And you run downstairs, you open gifts, the best. And I think all kids should get lots of gifts at Christmas and their birthday. It's great. Because children are kind of like allowed to be totally selfish and are also totally selfish having one now. They do not care about you. They care about themselves and getting sweet gifts. And that's cool. That's great. That's part of childhood, Now that I'm older, and why I don't like really either, is that first of all, I don't really need anything. Like, I feel like I'm mostly, like, pretty content these days.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of sort of anti-consumer, and I don't really want stuff, generally. That's just where I'm at now. But in terms of giving gifts, and I know what you guys mean, that it is nice to give a gift and see someone enjoy it. But what I find is that I end up feeling stress around getting gifts. So what to get people? Is it the same stuff that, like, I got them last year, or are they going to appreciate it, or how does it compare to what they've got me? Did I drop the ball? And if you think of, like, your significant other, you're like, oh man, did I blow it and get some lame gift? So I find I get a lot of stress around gift giving, to the point where sometimes, like, I'd rather, like, just like, here's some cash, and then that defeats the whole purpose, right?
Yeah. I'm with you too on the consumerism side, where it's like, I'm kind of, all right. So I think some context is important, but I'm kind of just, I don't want to say I'm against gift giving, because I'm not, but it definitely hooks into this idea of purchasing as a part of our cultural climate, like things we do. We go shopping for fun. We have all kinds of items in our lives that we like to receive. So gifts can be, I have a really weird relationship with gifts. And one of the things that we've done in my family, so Christmas, if you're listening to this, it's Christmas. You're probably spent a lot of time getting gifts and exchanging gifts. In my family, we're not doing any gifts. We've, like, over the years, we've gradually declined away from gift giving. Now, in my family, we don't have a lot of money to go around, so we all decided, A, we didn't want to spend time in shopping centers shopping, and B, we understand that everyone needs their money. So why would we, if I'm going to buy you a DVD of something or buy something, like, it just feels like you're doing it just to do it. And we wanted to unload that pressure from one another. So, we're all going to see Star Wars on the 24th. That's the gift, which is, I guess it's still a gift because my mom is paying for all of us, and that's a nice thing.
So she's giving you a gift.
Right, but it's going to the movies. Like, it's not,
Well,
there's not this pressure to buy everyone gifts. Now, that being said, the context of my family is a little bit like, none of us have kids, so when we get together, everyone's over 20. And so there's also a more mature relationship with giving and receiving, right? Everyone wants to give. And so, that being said, giving is supposed to be this idea that you didn't have to. you shouldn't have. Like, the idea behind giving somebody something is not because there's an expectation to do it. And that's where the weirdness is, because all year long we have Christmas and birthdays and, I don't know, people give gifts on other occasions. Like,
it's getting out of control. Like Valentine's Day, you gotta give gifts, and Mother's Day and Father's Day. It's like there's too much.
And that's a good point. Like the idea that but what Bo's saying, the idea that you give a gift of natural desire to give a gift, or you give a gift because, on the calendar it says this day you have to give a gift to these people. And in those situations, I do agree. You end up in situations where you're going over your list, you're looking at people, you're saying, what do I get this person? What do I get that person? It's work. It's generally effort. Sometimes it's really annoying. I generally find when I get to the end of the road, though, and I'm actually giving them the gifts on Christmas or on their birthday, and they're enjoying them, then that's really fun. I really like to try and make it be something that somebody would like. And it doesn't have to be a material good. Like you see people, give the gift of like a favor or some of their time or a lesson or a skill or whatever. Like there's a zillion different ways you can be innovative with gift giving. But what really frustrates me is when I get in a situation where it's like, essentially I'm giving somebody a $20 gift card and they're giving me back a $20 gift card for different stores. And then it's like, what the fuck just happened?
I went through that exact situation with my brother over the years, where as we got older, we get each other's stuff, and then one of us would seem cheap one year, and we'd be like, well, how much did you spend on that? We'd go, I don't know. Like, and then we just set a rule, like, let's just say $50 with what we spend on each other, and then we get each other things a few years. And then one year I got lazy, I think, and just put $50 in a card. And then the next year he put $50 in a card, and we both exchanged it. And then like the year after, we're just like, you want to just call even? And then we didn't do gifts anymore. And it just got to that point, because it's like you're trying. And I guess this comes back to me. And that's the stress of trying to be like even in terms of like, especially with something like siblings, where you have this expectation of a gift, and you don't want to seem like cheap, and you want to seem like you care, but like. I kind of want to take a little bit of like a step back, because I think thinking about gifts in the context of today is very different than thinking about gifts, say, like a couple hundred years ago. Like, I think the reason I think gift giving is a tradition and one that is well held on to is I think it had a lot more meaning a long time ago, in the sense that there wasn't like, an abundance of anything your heart could desire. Like stuff was harder to get at. You either had to make it, or it was hard to get or expensive, and you probably would rarely get a gift or a thing. And you think of gift giving in the context of like, dignitaries going to another country and you present some gift or something. You think of this as like in the medieval times. I don't even know if that's true. But in any case, these days, we have so much access to so much consumer goods. There's literally nothing I need. And so that gets rid of a lot of my desire to want to get a gift. And then also when I think about giving gifts, and it used to be, say, Christmas, I'd have a list for like my aunts, my parents, my brother. I'd go around and think of what they need, or what I need to get them. And I think of like my aunt and my parents, who are just cluttery people. They have so much stuff. And I get my aunt some little I don't know, trinket. It's like a glass horse or something, and I think of her house, which is just full of stuff, and she likes that stuff, but my God, she does not need any more stuff. So I end up moving towards the gifts of experiences, like tickets to an event, or dinners out, things that are experiences, or people say are consumables, something that you use and then it's just gone. And I think that that's a good alternative, but I still think it's ultimately just there's too much stuff around, and I would really rather just holidays just be about hanging out with your family.
What I would say is that there are still good gifts, and that there are crap gifts, right? Like, you can go and buy Elmo or Buzz Lightyear for your kid, and yeah, it doesn't have a lot of spiritual meaning, but they just want the crap anyways. Like you said, there's tons of consumer goods, and that's sort of part of our culture. But when you think about giving a gift to somebody, what you're intending to do is to make them feel good. It's not about the amount or what it is. It's about the feeling you would give. And I don't know if you've been there, but have we all been there when we get a gift and we're like, oh, you shouldn't have. I really like it, and you kind of like, you
pretend like
it's not even that you hate it, but you don't feel that legitimate, like, you can't give that person the like that genuine gratitude, that like, oh my god, this is so flattering. Like so you have to fake it, right? And you don't do that because consumerism. You do that because like the person was trying to do something nice for you, and you don't want to be a dickhole. And so I think there are still good gifts to be given out there, and they're not all necessarily bought with money. My mom is always telling me, if you want to get something nice, write me a song or write a poem, or do a creative thing and give it to me. I don't need money things, and she actually genuinely loves these things. Unless she's pretending. I don't. Like, oh, that's
she's
great.
like clenching her mouth through your song. Like, thank you, son. Very nice. Mom, I love you, Mom. I love you.
I like how Mike has a Justin Bieber haircut right now. It makes that singing so much better. The thing is I agree with what we're both saying about good gifts, and I like to be that guy. Think of something sort of that the individual will like, and often we live in a time where a lot of us are, especially as adults, maybe who have no kids, we may have disposable income, we may be able to get what we want when we want it, and that sort of thing. And so the trick to a good gift almost is getting somebody something, be it an item or a service or whatever, that they might not ever have thought about, but is perfectly suited to them. And that's easier said than done. And sometimes you'll just see something and you'll think about somebody and you'll be like, oh, X person would really appreciate that, and then you get it, and then you give it to them, and they're very flattered in this. But if you are giving it to them on Christmas or their birthday, well, then there's more context to why you'd be giving them. Oh, they're giving me this because it's this day, and we all exchange gifts on this day. But then, if it's an honest to goodness good gift, then it's one of these situations where somebody might, even though they know that it's an obligation, you give them a gift, they might appreciate it so much that just the fact that it's original, that it's custom to them, that you paid attention to their needs throughout the year and are aware of what to get them. Now you have places like Etsy, which is like a creative marketplace where you can buy homemade things, and I think it's changing. I really do think that gifts can be amazing, both to give and to receive. Like, there can be lots of positive feelings all around. But then there's the other side that we've been talking about that is really garbage. It's tricky because I've had so many good gift giving and receiving experiences, but now I have people, generally my brother like Mike, where I'm like, what the fuck do I get him this year? I don't know.
So I think we're all in agreement that it's possible to give a good gift, and that there's like nothing wrong with doing something nice for somebody, which is a gift. But hang on. I think what we're talking about though is, in this modern life that we have, everything becomes an industry. Everything becomes, a series of expectations and a system, right? So, in the context of gifts, there is doing nice things for people, and then there is like, Facebook pings you, hey, it's this person's birthday, wish them happy birthday. Like it feels like, I didn't talk to this person the whole year, but Facebook told me to wish them happy birthday. Sweet, thank you for socially engineering my life to make it so that I don't forget to leave people out. And this dominates all of aspects of our life, including gifts. So it's someone's birthday. What do you do for a birthday? What do you do for Valentine's Day? And there's a bunch of commercial marketing propaganda, if you will, indicating what the things are that you should and can do. And I think that's where, it's someone's birthday, buy them a gift. Why? They were born on that day. Like, happy you got born. For the 60th time. Don't you get sick of being told happy birthday? Like, hey, you were born on this day. Like, that's great. Like, it's cool to mark your age because that's how we count time, but it's really arbitrary, and we don't need to be giving gifts for these things.
Okay, I want to... Yeah, no, your point, like, I agree with what you said, but I still want to kind of, like, we've been saying, there's good gifts are maybe... things like an act of kindness or something creative that you do for something. And I feel like I don't necessarily tie those in with gifts. I think Crofton, when he was...
It's a cop out. You're copping out because you want to have a nice category that you can just. But that's a gift. Somebody makes something and gives it to you. That's what a gift is.
No, because this is the thing is that I do that. I will help people with stuff or do things for people because they need help, or like I will randomly help my brother with things or make him things. It's not a gift just because I'm like that's what I would do. I made him this concrete surround for his bathtub. It wasn't a gift. He needed it. I said I could make it, so I made it. It's a period. And I think that doing nice things for people that you care about, because I've helped lots of friends with little small reno projects or things like that, and it's like I don't consider it a gift.
If you made me a concrete coffee table or something and gave it to me, that's not a gift.
I'm making a concrete countertop for a friend right now because they need one and wanted one, and I was like, all right, I can do that, and I didn't think of it as a gift.
Are you charging the money?
No.
Well, then it's a gift.
Well, clearly it's a good deed, right?
It's...
Clearly, it's
he's giving them the concrete countertop. Like, what is it? If he's giving it to them out of the benefit of his goodwill and at a cost, both time and money to him, then it's a gift.
Yeah, before you're jumping down my throat, what I'm trying to say, there is a difference between. Because if you were to say that anytime I do something nice for someone, that I've given them a gift, it's a present. Because and I just feel like that's like what human beings do. Like I do nice things for people, and it's like I don't want to consider it like it's for Christmas or it's for your birthday or it's a gift just because I was thinking of you. It's like no, that's how human beings should freaking behave. It's like someone needs some help, you help them out. A gift is a thing you give someone, and I think Crofton, you did a good job of summarizing good gifts, which is like thinking about the person, thinking about what they might want, finding something to give them, and it's often a thing. I agree, it can be experiences like tickets to a show. That I think's a gift, stuff like that. But doing something for someone, or like, I don't know, I just don't. Writing a song for someone you care about, I don't know if that's a gift. I think it's something nice, something that shows you care. But like, was that my birthday? Say, I'll tell my family I don't want any gifts. My aunt will make me a nice dinner. Everyone will come and hang out with me. I don't consider those things gift. I consider those things just having a loving family. And right. And if it got to be like, well, that's your gift, that sort of demeans.
But there is a line there, and you're sort of walking on both sides of it all the time. So like, yeah, obviously hanging out with people is not necessarily gifting your time, or making somebody a meal is not necessarily a gift. But like. And you're right, material things but if I'm an artist and I paint a painting and I give it to somebody, I mean that's a gift. I'm sorry, that's a gift. If my art is making concrete coffee tables and I give one and I don't charge anything for it, that's a gift. Like I think that as soon as you're giving an item for free that costs you money or time or effort, that's likely to be a gift. Now, you can look at it.
The time or effort thing, I disagree with. Like, I just think I've devoted lots of time or efforts. Like, just think of not that long ago we helped Bo move. That's not a gift.
That's not an item. I just said it had to be an item.
Okay, I agree with that. If it's an item, but I still think you do things a lot of the time. And
if you give somebody a coupon, for instance, that says like you are entitled to a back rub or something like that, that's a gift. It's a gift.
Number one apology gift from males to their wives.
I'm just giving you an example, but maybe this is helping define it because it definitely is. It is an item. It's the certificate. Sure. It's not like, hey, I got you for a back rub sometime, baby. It's like you're giving actually an item, and so I think maybe if it is an item and if it's made by somebody, then it's a gift. Like, I'm sorry.
Okay, but again, to put this a little bit in context, when we think right now we're in the gift giving season, right? And it's like, and when you talk about that, when you hear that, they're not talking about giving a back rub to your uncle or whatever.
You're taking that out of context, and you know it.
When you hear that, they mean buying something and wrap it and put it under the tree, or gift for that special someone doesn't mean like write them a poem. When you hear that out in the world in this day and age, it means go and buy them some shit. And it could be a gift certificate to a spa, whatever. It means consume something. And I just think that that's pertinent in this discussion because when you hear statistics, like when you hear statistics like a lot of stores don't make any profit until the Christmas season. That sounds ridiculous, but that's how powerful gift giving is and helps drive our economy. And I think that's a bit ridiculous because it's so much of this consumer nonsense. But like gift giving is like it's billions of dollars.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Of course it is. But like getting back to your changing of the topic before you change the topic, my wife makes cookies in like tins and stuff and gives them to people for Christmas, and it's considered a gift. She considers it a gift or whatever.
Is that a gift when she gives that to me?
Yeah, well then you're
You're not getting one anymore.
You know what I consider it? Every time she does that, I just always think Jesse's really nice. Is what I.
Well, that's
what do you call it? What
for.
noun do you give that act or that thing?
Huh?
What noun do we give that act or that thing if not a gift?
Kindness, caring, community.
Noun.
She just told me that she considers it a gift when she gives it
But
out.
there you go. Now she's just devalued herself to me. She's like, I only give Greg a gift. I don't actually do nice things for him.
I'm just saying that the gifts, I think what you're trying to do is find a way that you can pigeonhole gifts in a way that allows you to be as negative as possible and focus on a capitalist system and capitalist economy and it's bullshit. But the reality is that gifts are a positive thing and they may have been twisted in certain ways by a capitalistic system.
That is
But generally, the idea of giving gifts and receiving gifts is positive.
Okay, here's another statistic I just learned today reading an article a buddy of mine posted who is kind of in the same vein as I am of like gift giving is kind of insane. And it was something like 1% of all gifts given to people are completely unused. Only 1% of gifts given to people are still in use 6 months after they were given. And when you hear that statistic, I was like, that's insane and seems crazily wasteful. But if I think of a lot of the stuff I've got for Christmas or my birthday that I don't use or don't even know where it is, I feel like that's probably even true of myself, and I try to use the stuff I have well. But
that kind of cookies wouldn't be used 6 months afterwards, I can tell you that.
But that's an example of the kind of like alternative gift that people who are critical of the consumerist aspect of gift giving, like what we're discussing, will say, give food or whatever. And yes,
I think a lot of chocolate and wine and all that stuff is given over Christmas. Like, I mean, I think I'd like to know more about that 1%. That seems like a crazy thing.
The article is written by this guy George Monbiot. He's always like he's this blogger. You see his articles all over the place in the Guardian and stuff.
That resonates as true. What Mike's saying about the gifts going unused, like at least to me.
No, they don't go unused. They're just not used 6 months after. If I get a video game, or if I get a movie, or if I get a book, I'm going to probably have gone through it before 6 months are up.
Yeah, exactly. But that's contingent on everyone. Wait, crosstalk. That's contingent on everyone getting you the gifts that you enjoy. Not everyone is good at gift giving. Not everyone puts equivocal amount of effort, but a lot of people don't want to be left out being the one douche that doesn't give gifts in a climate where everyone does the gift giving. So you do get things like socks that don't fit you and an ugly Christmas sweater. Like these things, like there's still a certain percentage when I'm looking at people I'm giving gifts for, I'm like, oh, I want to buy Jake a gift, my brother, because I know he likes the video game, so it's easy, and I'm going to get him something he likes. Incidentally, got him Skyrim. He never played it. You bought me Arkham Asylum as a Christmas gift one year, Crofton. It took me a year and a half or to 2 years to even play it, and it's luck.
So it was a bad gift. I got you that because I thought that you would like it.
We're not saying it's a bad gift.
It was a bad gift because you didn't play it.
Well, no, but the thing is, I think that the point Mike's driving at is that, and you are too, is that we're compelled to buy shit, and that's the negative behind it. Whereas, like, in my case, it ended up being a victory in the long term, but we are compelled to buy things. I've been in that space where I'm like, I don't know, what do I get my grandmother? Who even knows what she likes? I know. One year I got her a subscription to the Martha Stewart magazine. Don't know why. I just had to get something. Thought a magazine subscription was kind of unique. No one else ever thought of it for Christmas. There you go. Boom. But, like,
You didn't know she.
I don't know if she read it or
with
not. I'd be
that?
willing to like. She's very Hungarian, although she's passed away now. But when she was alive, she's very Hungarian. Don't think she reads much. She may have liked it. She may not have. I never investigated after that. And as far as I'm concerned, whether she liked it or not, I checked that box that year on the Christmas giving thing, and felt good about myself. And
she's probably still getting follow-ups from Martha Stewart asking her to renew her subscription.
Cool. Oh, that's my grandmother. Don't make jokes.
But it's interesting.
No, I'm just telling you, she's dead and she's getting renewal things from Martha Stewart
I'm
magazine.
Sure she isn't. But the point being that I think you're both on to the right thing. Is Mike's talking about this compulsion to buy gifts that we have for birthdays, Valentine's Day, God knows what else, and that there's a lack of sincerity there in the way that we've structured our society to just have to give them. And I think you're right that I think you're right. I think if you make something and give a physical object over or some sort of service over, you are giving a gift. And if it's not for trade, and if it's not just because there's an expectation or some sort of teamwork thing, like if we were, I don't know, if I was making a video game and Mike wanted to draw the art assets and he gave them to me, that's not a gift, working on a thing together. But if you just give something from the goodness of your heart that cost you something, it's likely a gift. It likely falls there. But I don't think that undermines anything Mike's saying about a lot of the problems and expectations.
No, I'm just pointing the finger at Mike because I think that he wants to develop this box so he can easily stick something on it that says.
I also think, here's another negative aspect. Now that you've got me on this whole I'm gonna be negative now. I think that a lot of times gifts are cop-outs. They're cop-outs because you haven't spent enough time with the person that you're giving the gift to. It's a way to throw money at a problem. And I saw some quote recently that, because now that I have a kid and I'm trying to spend a lot of time with them and stuff like that, where it said, you want to raise a happy kid, spend twice as much time with them and half as much money. And I think you always see this trope of the dad who works all the time and throws an $800 gift at his kid at Christmas, but the kid is sad because he wants, wishes his dad was around more. And I think that's a little bit talks about how gifts are used in our society, in the sense that oftentimes, it's often a bit of a stereotype. Guy does something stupid, then he gets his girlfriend some kind of gift to kind of make amends, and it's that's probably is buying chocolates or something and so this is gifts beyond just because you like some people give gifts for other reasons too, because they've done something wrong to try to make or to try to repair some situation or whatever, and those are really not the ways to get at these issues. And I think that they're often cheap. They're often because someone doesn't want to have a hard conversation, or someone doesn't want to admit they're wrong, or someone doesn't want to spend time. It's easier or more convenient for them to spend money because, as we all know, getting things feels good. It releases endorphins. It's like a drug. And if you give someone stuff, it's like a...
All right, you're moving on to something else now.
Well, it's about gifts.
I'm going to jump in before you change topics again. So what Mike said there is actually accurate. I think that it's probably one of the things that
Are you sure, Crofton? Maybe I'm completely out to lunch.
No. That there are some people that do that, and that there are some people that bandage over long-term relationship problems, father-to-son relationship problems with gifts. That does happen, for sure. However,
only Donald Trump, though, right?
However, most people. The people I give gifts to the most are the people that I see the most and spend the most time with. It's very unlikely that I'm going to give a gift to somebody that I never see. Facebook tells me it's my high school friend's birthday tomorrow. I'm not buying him a gift. Sorry, buddy. But the people that I do see and that I want to get gifts for are the people that I end up buying gifts for. And often that obligation overlaps with want. So the feeling at Christmas or whatever time of feeling obligated that you have to get a gift for someone, who are the people that you feel obligated that you have to get gifts for? And for the most part, they should be people that you want to get gifts for. And if it's not, then in the case of Mike and his brother and me and my brother or whoever, you can have agreements and be you know what, gifts aren't working out for us, and just not do it. But in Bo and his family, they're all going out to the movie theater. I think that's great. However, most people, you want to get them gifts, or you think of stuff. Like, I love buying gifts for my wife. I see her all the time. I think I give her a lot of my time. I hope so. But she's the one that I want to get gifts for, and that I get my best gifts for, because I know her the best, I think.
Well said.
Throwing money at a problem.
I'll bite you.
Well, it's like, I would say time as an adult. I feel like time is in short supply, and these days more so than ever. When you have two, usually, if you're in a couple, both people are working full time, and if you have a kid, they go to school. Like, time is harder to find than money is, more or less.
One doesn't replace the other. You can do both.
Yeah, you can do both. But like, when I think of, I'm like getting back to like giving and even receiving gifts. I'm just like, I most often would rather. I don't really care about gifts, and like, I would much rather like spend time with people that I like than have a gift from them. Like, if I, think of my friends or whatever, and if they all gave me a gift on my birthday, and I could I could trade all those gifts away for like getting together with them all every couple of months at least, which I know we try to do with a few of our other friends. I enjoy that way more than anything they would get me. And if I could do more of that, I would, But that's it's not a gift though. Like when we all hang out together and enjoy each other's fine company, I really enjoy that. And it's not a gift. It's just like. But
that's because you're an adult now. You're an adult now, so now you're on the giving side of things, and what you want in return is to hang out with the people you care about. I get that. I'm an adult too. I like that stuff. I have all the money I want. I can buy the things that I want. It's not a big deal. But when I was a kid, in particular, and you don't have the things that you want things, and a lot of it is marketed to you or whatever. It doesn't matter. You want things, and you get given things, and you look forward to Christmas. And there's the whole Santa Claus myth, and the presents are a big part of that. And I feel like I don't know, like I wouldn't. I have Santa Claus, and I think about my kid, and like, because obviously it's a giant lie. It's a series of lies that you would have to tell your kid. And I realized at first, I thought, am I okay with this? But now I realize, like, I enjoyed it when I was a kid. Who am I to keep this sort of away from my kid? Because now I'm like, well, it's capitalist bullshit. Because
I didn't say that, just to jump in there, because I agree with you.
No. I'm not saying that you said it, but I have those same thoughts that you have, right? So I'm like, I now know that it's like, what do I get my kid's 1.5, and we're talking about what we're going to get her for Christmas. We haven't got her a gift yet. Just for the record, listeners, this airs a week later, so I still have a week. I'm
gonna get your ass in gear. She's gonna hold you accountable if you don't have a
Yeah, when she's in her 20s and she's blaming you for all of her crack addiction, she'll be like, "You never got me the gift I wanted when I was one."
Sure, you were there 100% of the time for me, but you never got me a good gift.
I think you can have both. I do think your points are well made, though, with regards to some of the perils of gift giving, But if you get back to the real high level of what gift giving is, it is giving somebody something because you want to make them happy, and when they get it, it makes them happy. And it's giving, receiving, and all that. And I feel that there's a lot of positive associated to that, and that's why it is used by some people as a band-aid solution to bigger problems.
I mean, okay, we've had a good conversation. I think it's time to roll into verdicts, because I don't want to rehash stuff. I'll save it for my verdict and yours too.
Fair enough.
Bring in the animals, Bo.
Wait, just before. Wait, no.
It's too late. All right. Get back in. All right. Yes. That was hard.
I was just going to say...
That was really hard to do. It's better have been worth it.
I appreciate what you did there. I consider that a gift.
No, it's not a gift!
It's not a gift. You don't know what gifts are, Crofton.
I just want to ask Bo, it feels like we've been Mike and I've been ranting against each other this episode. Do you have anything you want to add before we go to verdicts?
Thank you, Crofton. That's so nice.
I gave the gift of consideration.
It's my gift to you
of
nice. Time.
I mean, everything I think I can roll into my verdicts. You guys covered the gamut. I feel like you're splitting hairs with some of your arguments about, almost defining what a gift is. And I think you're more on the same page than you both realize. I think you're just sort of
Absolutely.
You're picking on like some nuanced definitions about what a gift is, and at the end of the day, and let's bring in the animals, and I'll just do my verdict first because this is
there you go.
Verdict, so.
I like to give Crawford the gift of disagreement.
Order, I say. Order in the court.
Mike's giving us the rare gift of humor. Actually, it's not rare. It's pretty. I gave you the gift of condescension.
Condescension. I'm here, also generous with the gifts. Hey, Bo, give us the gift of your verdict now.
Yeah, this is a good episode. I can feel it. All right. Yeah. So you guys are splitting hairs about the definition of the gift. At the end of the day, I feel like the spirit in which you give a gift is one of goodwill, and there are plenty of instances where the sincerity is questionable. Giving gifts to patch over relationships, giving gifts in diplomatic relations because it's a form of, decorum, and not because Canada sincerely likes Iran. So we gave you this bottle of maple syrup as a deep gift because we know how much you really wanted maple syrup. They don't want maple syrup, okay? Iran doesn't.
I do.
Sure, but you're Canadian. Like, they're it's not really that thoughtful of a gift, and certainly if I gave you guys gifts of maple syrup, you're like, oh gee, thanks. I guess that was kind of not super considerate, but still a nice thing. The point of giving a gift when it feels really good is because there's a good chance it's going to really make someone feel great. And it doesn't always have to be a new thing. Hand-me-downs can make great gifts if they're unique items or special things. You could have a Jackson Pollock that your cousin really wants, and finally you're like, here, cousin, I know you really want the Jackson Pollock. Take the Jackson Pollock, and he's like, gee, thanks. And then, I don't know, he takes a shit on it. But the point being, I don't know, I just pictured the cousin being like, I wanted that to wipe my ass with. The cousin in the story is a jerk, okay? But the point being is that we live in a modern society where a lot of stuff is structured, as Mike aptly pointed out. There's tons of consumer goods. We are lousy with items and services that are not that special, that many in the middle class can afford to obtain for themselves. And certainly there's no expectation that someone, making under $30,000 a year should go out and buy a Lamborghini for their mom. Like, that's even possible, right? And even if you did do that, that would be a shitty gift because you've put yourself in such a debt hole that it's hurtful to your relationships. Gifts at the end of the day are thoughtful things that are within your reach, that do cost you time and effort in the form of money or actual time and effort, and that make someone feel good. So, is there a lot of bullshit with gift giving? Yes. I don't like giving people gifts on their birthdays. I don't expect gifts on my birthdays. I don't like giving gifts for Valentine's Day or for, Labor Day. Do people do that? Just gifts in general, even the Christmas ones, not a big fan of it. I understand kids like it, and I'm not decided yet because I don't have kids whether I want to actually be the asshole parent that doesn't give their kids gifts. I know I'm ranting. I'm coming to a conclusion. But at the end of the day, doing nice things for people is good, and a gift, it can come in the form of a gift. So I have to say that gifts are a good thing. Because I think doing nice deeds for people is important. So I want to reinforce that with a good verdict to make sure.
Yeah, but like that.
So, Roger, do you want to read first?
Me? Yeah, whatever. I can start by.
All right. It doesn't matter. We're gonna do. Neither of us are changing anybody's opinions here. So go ahead.
We don't know what you're gonna say, anyways. So yeah, I still think it's key to make the differentiation between what Bo just said at the end. Doing good deeds for people is good. Yes, doing good deeds for people is good.
But buying a retail gift is also. That's my point. Is that's a good deed.
Right. It can be. Gifts can certainly be good. Gifts can also be outright bad. And the culture of gift giving, especially as it exists in our Western society, I think is largely bullshit. You can go ahead and give the cow slap on the butt now.
Cow initiated. You didn't hear it?
No. Cow. There it is. Bullshit. And I just think as much as it's the positive aspects of gift giving are making you think about people you care about. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, but you should be doing that anyways. You know, you should be thinking of ways to spend time with them and ways to make them happy and do nice, good deeds for them and do nice things for them. That's just being a good human being. That's having good culture, having good family, having love in your life makes you do those things. But the bullshit around this is all around. It is around consumerism. It is around the fact that you can buy your way to a happy relationship or a happy family. And again, to reiterate what Crofton said and what I said at the start, I'm all for giving gifts to kids. And I love getting gifts as a kid. I loved it so much. But as an adult looking back, you know, I can see as a pretty selfish person. Kids are kind of selfish. It's okay. It's not judgment on them. That's just how they are. It took me, you know, my 30-some years of existence to come to the point where I realized that, like, just getting stuff because I like it makes me feel good is not actually the key to happess. It's really not. And so I don't need or want gifts anymore. But it took me a while to learn that, I think. So for kids, you know, they're just new to life. Getting a new toy is awesome, and they should have it. And I would not deprive any kid of gifts, my own or anyone else's. But anyways, all in all, I just think it's just a way to drive money out the door, make it, like, prop up the economy, not in a productive way, and send a whole lot of consumer shit to the landfill, because that's where most of this stuff is going. And I just think, honestly, if we just spent more time with people we loved, did nice things for them, because that's not necessarily the same thing as a gift, we'd all be better off. So yeah, there you go. It's a little bit of honesty for you, Crofton.
It's funny because when you were talking about how some gifts can be bad, I'm like, how can gifts be bad? And then I had an image of, like, the first European settlers being like, hey, First Nations, we got these great blankets that have absolutely no polio in them that we're giving you as a gift. No polio at all. Enjoy.
There you go. Oh, what is it? Is it Troy? What did they put the big horse? Like, hey, this horse.
It's a great horse. Real sturdy.
We made it ourselves. There's nothing inside it.
Yeah, so I would, you know, like, Bo made good points when he said Mike and I weren't that far off. In many ways, a lot of what Mike says, I also agree with. I do think he's 3 shades Grinchier than I am, but at the same point, I feel like when I think about my personal life and I think about gifts, there's and I do a balance in my head of, like, annoyances versus positives. There's me as a kid, me as an adult, and I realized that I've gotten way more positive out of giving gifts in my life than I have frustrations or negatives and such. I've gotten great gifts from my friends and family. I've given great gifts. I've enjoyed thinking of clever things for them. Every Christmas, I look forward to it. I feel like I would still like to think that I'd give gifts to people if these things didn't exist. And let's face it, to defend Mike's point, things like weddings, things like, Bo mentioned, like, ceremonial gifts. There's so many obligations to give gifts. And I'd like to think if you took all of those away, I'd still give gifts, but I really think it would be way, way, way reduced. And that kind of makes me sad. I look forward to these times where we sit down and exchange gifts. So because of all that, but Mike's right on a lot of what he says, but I've had much more positive life experiences that I'd like to see continue to my daughter and beyond with regards to gifts. I think the idea of giving a gift is a positive one, and therefore I'm going to say the whole gift-giving thing is good.
I was.
You gave me the gift of being shocked. Actually, I just gave you the gift of sarcasm. And that's stupid.
You know what the best gift is? Do you know what the best gift?
Silence.
Is?
Conversation.
Nope. The present.
On that annoying note, listeners, if you want to tell us why. Well, tell me why I'm an idiot for saying gifts are bullshit and agree with the other two guys. Please do so. We'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email, goodbadbull@gmail.com. He tends to tweet at GoodBadBull, and or you go on our Facebook page and give us a like on there and write something if you want. You can find links to Stitcher, iTunes on our website, goodbadbull.com. You can listen to episodes there, or on Stitcher or iTunes, as I just mentioned. But yeah, check us out if you get a chance. And yeah, hopefully you made it through the intro of this show. So yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, I guess you can follow my Twitter at MLHodgins. Bo, if people want to follow you, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Bo Schwartz. If they want more of my beautiful voice, they can find me with Crofton on the Exclamation Mark Podcast. EXMPodcast.com. That's where you can go to subscribe to that show. And you can also find me, if you like the video game Heroes of the Storm, I do a podcast called Core at heroesforyou.com.
He's a busy man. And Crofton, where can our listeners find you?
They can give me the gift of more Twitter followers at Crofton Steelers on Twitter. And I'm also on there with the exclamation mark with Bo. We need followers, so exmpodcast.com. Check us out. Oh, also, Mike, I was confused because every once in a while you go through this crisis of conscience where, like, we'll be sitting around and you'll be like, I think I'm becoming a Grinch in my old age, or we'll do an episode and you'll be like, I feel like I'm being too negative on things. Well, if ever you want to dig up a good doozy to reinforce that point, bookmark this episode.
I would also like to note that Mike has a new haircut where he makes him look young and handsome. It's short with a bit of length on top, and he looks great. So it doesn't match the cynicism as much. It looks like he should be like, yeah, man, it's so good. Let's go get high. And write some lyrics, and I'm a pop star. Hey, man, like life's good. Everything's good about life. Let's buy gifts. You know what? All the gifts on me.
I just feel, yeah.
I like your cynical
That's not sounding like the way you look now. You have to keep up appearances, sir.
Well, yeah, appearances aren't all what they seem. I have to.
Look, you can't go like 2 words without being like appearances aren't what they seem.
I just feel like cynicism. Have we done cynicism? Because
we should though. Because you bend the knee at the altar of cynicism.
I just think it's kind of like being a realist, and I think that's okay.
There's a guy in my high school that was always, everybody called him a pessimist, and he would be like, I'm a realist.
Well, I think that there is pessimism. There is, and I think there is realism and cynicism. They're all a little different from each other. But yeah, I don't think I'm pessimistic, but I am cynical.
Do cynics also behave cynically towards cynicism? Does the snake eat its own tail? Is that accepted behavior?
I don't know.
Is that part of the deal? If you're like, cynicism is such bullshit.
Just look up. There's there's this podcast stuff you missed in history class, and they did one on Diogenes of Sinope. I learned about this dude in college. He was one of the Greek philosophers, of the Cynic school, and he's kind of an interesting dude. And if you want to learn more about the origins of cynicism, I suggest checking out that podcast.
Okay.
Well, I would, but I'm too cynical about the evidence that you're proposing.
Yeah.
Thank you for the gift of that podcast reference.
Whatever.
We couldn't go a show without one. It's great. We love it, Mike. All right. I think we can cut it there. That we can end the show. Good job, gentlemen. That was a good one.
I don't know. It was fun to do, but it felt like it may be totally...
A bit too scattered.
We could be talking over each other. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of crosstalk, but mostly it's good. I think there's some real moments of levity in there. As the one observing a lot of the conversation. Really, and Crofton getting legit... triggered, he'd be micro-triggered on, things what Mike would say about, gifts or... He's like, fucking...
I just think it's kind of I should have called you back, because you were like, Mike, you're looking for ways to find negativity in this, and I'm like, I think you're doing the opposite, and the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, as it always is.
You guys are both... You guys both brought it.
What's funny though is that what happens, we get these episodes with me often when I'm tired, because I just don't have the filter or whatever.
That's good, though. You shouldn't have the filter.
I'm just I just don't. I'm just I get off and I lose my words sometimes.
Oh, you get off.
You did well.
I'm glad you keep it off the camera.
And but I think you were good in this one too. Just that we ended up slanted at each other. And
It was great chemistry. Why would I interrupt good chemistry?
shockingly, you were like the voice of reason and all that too.
Bo was the voice of reason. Oh my
That's
god.
not happen often.
It's true, he was too. He would be like, I think you guys are not so different from you believe.
You said, that's very easy and well balanced. Who is this?
Yeah, who is this guy? He does one episode of the Current
I
Geek
feel
and he
like
comes back.
I feel like I want to be on Mike's side a lot and be inflammatory about gifts, but if I'm being honest, that would make me a hypocrite because I like giving them, and I have to reconcile that with my opinion, which is
Yeah. Whereas lately, I'm just like, honestly, it mostly just stresses me out. I think about Christmas, like, oh god, and then it's like,
yeah.
I like being generous, but I'm like, I would much rather do that with like time and I don't know.
I know what you mean. This show in
Stress.
particular with the kid and work and stuff like that. It's just been, it has been a bit stressful.
Like, I didn't even mention this stuff, but like, I remember being a kid and my mom being like, you want to make a Christmas list? And I'd be like, oh, hell yes! And I would find like a big long list of paper, have like a toy catalog, and be like, I want this, and I want that.
Oh yeah. I'd circle in the consumers. The consumers. Remember consumers? Like you could.
Yeah.
I used to circle everything in the catalog I wanted, like all the video games and arcade.
Yeah.
See, I didn't get much, and Mom was telling this today because I asked about picking up toys, and she's like, you guys didn't have much toys because we didn't have much money. And it's funny, though, because I associate Mike, at least in the time I've known him, with getting ridiculously big gifts, or like a lot of gifts from his family, because like his Aunt Anna and stuff, like he'll be like, here, have an electric guitar, and then have this or have that, or whatever.
I was thinking about that, and it's like, and I feel like guilty about gifts like that, even though, at the time I really couldn't afford something like electric guitar, and I really did appreciate it, and I still look at that guitar, I'm like, oh, that thing's sweet, I wish I'd better at playing it. But
we didn't use it 6 months after.
No, I still play it sometimes. But what I was going to say, and this is something Andrew and I have talked a lot about, is that like in my family in particular, and a lot of families, it's like my family doesn't really know how to express love, and they do so by giving gifts. Like totally, like they can't. They're not. Like growing up, it's like that's how.
Waspy.
What?
Waspy.
Is that what that means?
White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. It's like It's like Stephen Harper is waspy.
Yeah, a lot of right wingers.
Good job, son.
Exactly, and it's like you don't know how to tell people you love them or care. My mom is definitely getting much better at that, and I feel like I'm sort of trying to help, like not educate her, but be like, Mom, like I like spending time with you, and like.
Well, your mom has always been like huggy and
but much more so. There was like a shift happened with her probably like 10 years ago, and not that she was cold as a kid. She was a great mom. But like, my parents would never say something like, I love you, or something like that. And it wasn't because they didn't love me, just because they're of that era where you just hard. Like, I remember as a little boy, like, being pretty little thinking about that. And I said to my dad once, I said, I love you, Dad. And he was like, okay. He might have said that's nice, but he definitely didn't say that.
That's your dad, actually.
And it's funny because, like, I guarantee my dad does love me. He just he doesn't know, he came from a generation where it's like, you're gay if you say that or whatever. But like, I tell my son like 100 times a day that I love him, and I will continue to do that.
Oh, Dad.
It'll embarrass him to death. I go to school and be like, I love you so much, shout out your dad. He's like, fuck off, Dad.
I love your like channeling Harrison. Fuck off, Dad.
Yeah, my kid will probably
I love your like dad or your angry person.
It's funny how waspy Canada is, though. Like, if you go on these, because now Trudeau has come into power, and he is essentially the Mike Hodgins in that regard. Like, he's like always like hugging people and crying. Like, he was at the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which is serious, heart-wrenching stories, and he's like crying in the front row. And then he's at the Veterans Memorial, and he's like sort of crying but giving kisses to like the war mother, and then he's going and he's like doing like shots.
He took some new citizens to go see Star Wars. Did you see that?
No, he took Chio Sick Kid. You got it half right. Yeah. Our friend Carlos, actually, Bo, his kids went with Justin Trudeau. And anyway, it was funny because like he greeted the new refugees. He's all about the emotional, and he's like super in touch, I guess, with his emotions. And then you look at the comments in the stories about all that stuff, and it's so funny how waspy and how uncomfortable people are. He did like a Vogue shoot with his wife, where they look. There's a photo of them that's quite intimate and looks like they're in love, and people are like, "Oh, geez, keep it in the bedroom."
I wonder if they framed it and sent it to people as gifts.
Yeah,
people are really good. People are like very socially conservative, especially in Ontario. It was funny because when I was in Montreal, whenever you greet someone in Montreal, you kiss both their cheeks, like especially women and stuff. When I started working in the government, I would be doing that, and people would be really uncomfortable.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Ubisoft, you come in there, if there's someone, you'd be like, oh, or whatever. Everybody does it. That's what they do in Montreal. But then it's like you come to Ottawa, and it's like people are like, what the fuck are you doing? So anyway,
it is funny, but I do think that's a bit of a generational shift too. Which I was thinking with Justin Trudeau and being like, so far so good, and I think he really is like closer to our generation, and
yes.
and it's nice to see. Frankly, like I'm like, it's his to screw up at this point. I'm like, if he keeps on this track, like. There's no way like people like us will like I'll vote for him. I vote NDP this time, and I'll be like, what? If he keeps up like this, I'll keep.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm totally on board. It's funny. I had a weird dream where he's playing nerd games with us the other day.
I bet it'd be fun to play.
We should try and get that sorted.
Huh?
We should try and get something with Justin Trudeau sorted. Since he's such a man of the people, we have a good shot. We should get him on good, bad, or bullshit. That's what we should do.
Oh, yeah.
That would be amazing.
Bullshit answers.
That would be amazing. But if you just want to play nerd games with us, that'd be cool, too. Like,
I just had this where I had in my dream him, like, because you know how Bo becomes like sort of a rules master, like taskmaster with the rules of the game. Like in my dream, he was giving the prime minister shit for like he's like, no, you can't do that because this is blah 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 blah.
Then he got hired onto his staff. He's like, you were so good at the nerd games night.
He made you president of the Treasury Board.
We need someone like you to enforce the rules here.
Sorry, Scott Bryson.
I know you were elected and all, but this guy's too good.
I love this.
I'm going to
put
him into the Senate.
This is great.
Actually, did you hear about my dad's is trying to apply to become a senator now?